heat transfer that is occurring between the fluid in motion and the bounding surface, which are at different temperature that we have studied previously. The two mechanism in which this convection process happens is by random molecular motion, similar to what is happening in conduction. Okay, so there are two mechanisms here in conduction. Here one is the random molecular motion. Random molecular motion means it gains heat. Okay, it gets excited and start moving more randomly, and when it strikes the lower energy molecule, it transmits that heat. Okay, in that way the random molecular motion is doing heat transfer through convection. And another is by collective or bulk, collective or aggregate motion of these molecules. Means in a collective means large quantity of molecules in a collective way gain energy or absorbs energy and move towards move away from the heat source. Okay, making a space for lower temperature or the lower energy molecule to occupy its space. Okay, in this way the heat transfer is taking place by bulk or aggregate molecule gaining energy. Okay, so if you want to have the process convection to take place, you need to have both this mechanism to happen. So the convection process happens, but if only one process happen, like only one is happening, like only the by through bulk or aggregate motion the heat transfer is taking place, so that process is one part of convection. It is called advection. Okay, so next is we need to study what is a thermal gradient or thermal boundary layer in case of convection. So this is typical. Okay, this is you need to understand from your fluid mechanics fundamentals that you might have studied in your fluid mechanics class. So when a fluid moves over a surface, okay, this surface is at a different temperature, that you should know. The fluid is at a different temperature. When a fluid moves over a surface, the point at which the fluid contacts the surface, it is at a zero velocity. This is you know. Okay, so as you move across the fluid in y-axis, the fluid velocity goes on increasing. Okay, the fluid velocity goes on increasing, and this is the graph. Okay, here the v is 0. Okay, as it moves, the v reaches the actual fluid velocity that you are seeing. Okay, so you have to relate it with how the heat transfer take place through convection in this process. So when you see the heat transfer process that is taking place at the point of contact where the velocity is 0, you have a heat transfer. The maximum heat transfer is taking place through random molecular motion. Okay, so here the fluid temperature is Ts. Okay, as it moves up, the fluid velocity is increasing. Okay, the fluid velocity is increasing, and as it increases, it takes away a part of this Q along with it. Okay, as velocity goes on increasing more and more, the more proportion of this Q is going along with this. The more proportion of this Q is going along this with this flow. Okay, so the temperature is going on decreasing along with the height of this fluid layer. Okay, so this is the graph actually, and this is called the thermal boundary layer. This is how the heat transfer takes place in liquid, and this is called hydrodynamic boundary layer. Boundary layer. Okay, so you can see this is what I have explained here in this all points. The velocity gradient shown is 0 at the point of contact. Okay, so next is So now we'll move toward the next slide, which discusses the type of convection that is taking place. So according to the nature of flow, the convection may be of two types: free convection and forced convection. The figure B of this, the part B of this figure shows the natural convection or the free convection. Okay, free convection is also called the natural convection. So what happens in natural convection? This is a circuit board over a chip is placed. Okay, so what happens? You might have seen in your laptop. Okay, laptop. Okay, that we'll talk about in forced convection. What happens here in natural convection? When the chips gets heated, it heats the air around it. Okay, heats the air around it. Due to it, what happens? The air density decreases around the circuit board, and due to decrease in density, it moves up, and the colder air surrounding it replaces this heated air around it, and a kind of circulation happens. Again, this cold air, this circuit, these chips gets heated, okay, and heats the air around it. Its density decreases. Again, it moves up. A kind of circulation happen like this. So this is a natural way of heat transfer, or natural way of convection or free convection, we can say. In a convection, we use fan, cooler, or whatever more you can see. So here what happens? You are externally applying forcefully removing the heated air from around the circuit board. Okay, you don't wait so that this air gets light, density decreases much, so that it rises up through in a natural way. You just remove it. It gets heated to a little amount, and you remove it. Okay, replace it with more colder air. A more efficient way than a natural way of convecting. Okay, and this, and the heat, the third point what it discusses, the third point says that the heat transfer usually is the sensible or internal heat that is being transferred. Okay, so what does this statement mean? Means that when you heat the air, it's what happens? Its internal energy increase. Okay, internal energy increased, then it moves up. So you are transferring by increasing the internal energy of a substance. Heat transfer happens. Okay, but in some cases latent heat transfer take place. So latent heat transfer means it absorbs so much amount of heat that is state changes from the liquid state, it changes into the vapor state. Okay, so that's the latent heat changes. Like in case of boiling, this C figure shows boiling, where the molecules takes the latent heat from the surface in contact and convert itself into vapor. Okay, these molecules take heat equivalent to latent heat, converts itself into vapor form. Okay, density decrease again, and it moves up above the liquid, and the colder liquid takes its place. Happens in conduction. Okay, you might have studied somewhere or might have recognized in your kitchen also. And this one shows how inside a pipe, pipe must be not of plastic, should be conducting pipe, metal pipe. Okay, so when vapor is surrounding this colder pipe, it just releases its latent heat of condensation and transform itself into the liquid state. Okay, so you can see in this table the heat transfer through free convection is like 2 to 25 for gases. For liquids it is 50 to 1000. Forced convection it is good, 25 to 250 for gases, and liquid for 100 to 20,000. And the maximum heat transfer through convection happens through phase change, boiling and condensation. Okay, so you might have studied, we have studied also before that, when you want the maximum heat transfer to happen inside a refrigerator, where what happens inside the evaporator, the refrigerant takes that much amount of heat, means equivalent to its latent heat, and converts itself into the vapor form. Okay, the maximum heat transfer happens like this. In power plant also, there you have the water that takes the maximum heat for the maximum heat transfer. Okay, it converts itself into the vapor form, water vapor form. And the rate of heat transfer here is governed by Newton's law of cooling. Here Q by A, or the heat flux, is directly proportional to the temperature difference. Ts and T, this is T infinity. Ts minus T infinity means that you might have seen Ts is the surface temperature and T infinity is the temperature of the liquid, and H is the proportionality constant. So now I'll see one problem. We have a air at 20 degrees Celsius blows over a hot plate of 50 into 75 centimeter maintained at 250 degrees Celsius. So we have a plate like this, okay, and it measures 75 into 50, okay, and temperature is 250 degrees Celsius, and the hot air is blowing over it like this. The convection heat transfer coefficient you have been given, H, is 25 watt per meter degree Celsius. Okay, so you can see in case of K, thermal conductivity, it was watt per meter Kelvin. Now it is watt per meter square Celsius. Okay, and then calculate the heat transfer. Very easy. Heat transfer is what? Q. Q is H A Ts minus T infinity. I have done here. H is what? H is 25, and A is flowing over this surface, and the heat flux again should be perpendicular to this surface. Okay, Q is like this. So 0.5 into 0.75 is your area, and Ts minus T infinity. Your Ts is 250 and T infinity is 20 degrees Celsius. So you will get 2.15 kilowatt. This completes our introduction of convection. Okay.